When looking for your favorite tools and supplies for your next flooring job, we have the absolute best place to shop online. Head on over to shagtools.com, the pro's choice for everything from cutters, adhesives, knee pads, shower systems, and more. Shag Tools carries all the premium brands you know and trust. In stock with fast shipping to either you or your job site. And right now, our new customers are going to receive 10% off their initial purchase using the code HUDDLE10. That's right, HUDDLE10 at shagtools.com.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Huddle, your weekly playbook, whatever Paul says for to help you with forward progress in your career. Yeah, Ashlyn says so close. I'm always so close, but never there, which is fine. I'm good with it.
If you guys can't tell, that's so natural. Like, it sounds so natural, but he rehearsed that for so long. Am I still really loud, you guys?
Yes.
Dude.
Brotherly love.
I know, right? So we're going to be talking about some training today, and we got good old Sonny Callaham and Scott Bohaker here with us. I'm going to start with Sonny, and we'll just do some introductions for the people that don't know who you are.
Sure. My name's Sonny Callaham. I've been in the flooring industry since about 88. Started out as a helper, carrying pad, cutting waffle pad in half rolls because it was too small to carry a full roll of waffle pad. And just made my way through the industry, installer, project manager, worked my way up, and now own Divergent Adhesives, and we go out there and try to help make the job easier for installers.
Nice. I think that's one of the things that people don't realize is the progression through the industry that you can do.
Yep, that's right.
Scott, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Scott Bohaker, and I grew up in Canada. Moved down to Puerto Rico in 2004 to get away from the snow and the cold and whatnot. And I grew up at a Carpet One in British Columbia. Went down to Puerto Rico, started doing hotels, working on the resorts down there, doing carpet installations, cutting my teeth a little bit in commercial and all the Caribbean islands. Moved to Georgia 2007. The rest is kind of history. Me and my wife Tammy own a commercial flooring installation company called Beaumont Flooring. We travel all across the U.S. and Canada doing senior living homes, hotels, whatnot. We do a lot of remediation work for the manufacturers. CFI certified, C2, R2, active flooring inspector, FCITS and ITS. Do a lot of moisture testing, part of the CFI certification team, new product installs. So this just seemed like the natural progression to help with NAFCT and see if we can try to take it to another level.
Nice, man. So you went from the Caribbean islands to Georgia.
Yes. I do prefer the
the
weather much better down here. But yeah, Georgia and Puerto Rico weather seemingly very similar in the spring, especially. But no, you know what? The little bit of snow we get, I'm perfect with.
Just a little bit. I mean, the last time I was down there was pretty cold. I think it was like I don't know, in the 40s or something like that.
Well, in the wintertime, we do get a little chilly, and we do get a little bit of snow sometimes, but
I can't complain because it was probably snowing here.
I was going to say 40 is nothing. That's
Right?
summertime, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We also have the Beaumont Flooring Training and Education Center down here in Calhoun, and we have a space dedicated. I'm in the classroom right now, about 1,200 square foot classroom dedicated to flooring installers, inspectors, sales staff. We've had manufacturers we've hosted here. We have a training area in the back, about 3,000 square feet, where we do installation trainings and whatnot. So we're pretty equipped to take these trainings to the next level here in Georgia.
Yeah, and I think that was like you said earlier, the kind of progression, right, where you just kind of seen that fit with NAFCT. So can you kind of give us a rundown on how that came to be and what your plans are for the future?
Well, to start with, Sonny approached us because we all know that Paul got approached with another opportunity in his life, and Sonny needed somebody to take Paul's place, for lack of a better term. Even though I'm not sure, a more rounded individual, maybe somebody involved in the installation side of things, the inspector side of things. That was the goal. I'd love to say that Sonny made the right decision. The board voted us in, and me and Tammy, my wife, Tammy Bohaker, for those of you who don't know her, she is heavily involved in the business side of things. Yeah. We really want to stay involved with all the other acronyms out there. As we all know, in the flooring industry, there is a lot of different acronyms. We have CFI, we have NAFCT, we have ITS, we have NAFCT, we have AFT, NICFI, ITS. Give me a few more.
FCICA.
Yes.
WFCA.
Pour out some cereal on the floor.
You need a guide just to keep up with all those. But we want to continue working with everybody, all the different groups, promoting unity, bringing everybody together. Because at the end of the day, what do we all want to do? Provide training. We want a better educated flooring installer.
We're all whether it be the same thing.
Hands-on skills,
that's right.
Business skills, something that is really lacking these days. We really want to try to help out, try to get these installers on track so they have a better understanding of finances, of the IRS, insurance, building relationships with insurance agents, attorneys, everything. We want a better rounded installer, right?
A lot of the stuff that you don't see until you're already deep into it, really.
Oh yeah. How many of us
that's right.
Either in the group chat or face to face here have gotten themselves in some trouble with the IRS in the past?
Boom.
Yeah. We didn't know any better.
Yep. Nothing more frustrating than losing a talented fitter in their 30s, in the prime of their life, because they didn't pay their taxes and they got to go to a different industry. Can't tell you how many times I've seen that. It's a shame. We can't afford to lose.
We cannot, and we need to keep those people in the industry. And
yeah. Well, and the other thing too that frustrates me is when you see somebody out on the job site, they're 68 years old and they've got installed till the day they die because they didn't put away anything. They didn't plan for the future, had no financial guidance during their life, when it would have been really easy to, to set some money aside and enjoy life.
I've even, been on TikTok and seen some guys on there that used to be teachers and quit so they can focus on teaching kids just financial literacy, like the basics, right. Budgeting, stuff like that. It's things that people don't think about. And then you start a business and it's like, you're already in it, and then all these things pop up and it's like, man, I had no idea. And like I said, I was talking to Scott earlier on the phone, and that's what I said. I tell people that we were like by accident we were successful, and and things can change at any point, but people look at us and they're like, oh, you guys are successful, which is relative, but we didn't have anything in place, and that's why we are on the podcast and stuff like that, so that way we can tell people, we didn't know these things when we started, so we want you guys to have a leg up because we didn't go through that for nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to test my microphone.
Learn from our mistakes.
My microphone and butt in for a second about that. Am I still super loud, you guys? I don't know what to do. It's like going up and down. But I did sit a few years ago, sit in a classroom with a bunch of people in a school setting and or they were asking the community, what do we need to bring back to schools? Obviously, it was at a time when we started falling short on labor. And then they started, yeah, you're right. We could bring the trades back and teach this. And then I raised my hand. I'm like, well, what about teaching students how to, I don't want to say balance the checkbook, right? But understanding the difference between owning a business and
what's a P&L?
Yeah, like all that, the profit and loss. Like they weren't saying any of that. They're like, well, if you go to college, you can learn this and learn that. Like, so you're going to wait until they're in debt to teach them how to manage their debt? Like that doesn't make sense to me, you guys. And
great point.
Of course, you know, some people were like, "Oh, I'm glad you said that. Happy you said something." And some people were like, "I don't know why you even said anything."
In the flooring industry.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I realized that really early in my career, especially when I was a subcontractor, that I wasn't the money guy. I needed to have somebody hold my money and delegate it for me, because I wasn't going to keep track of my taxes. I wasn't going to do the 401k. And, you know, that transferred over to when I started running my own business. I made sure the first thing I did was I got a money guy. My partner in NAFCT or Divergent Adhesives, he's got his master's in forensic accounting. He knows numbers, right? So that's how we understand what I don't know how to do, and to get the right people around.
It's a running joke. If I had somebody like Tammy when I was a young man, I would be a wealthy man right now. But no, and in my 20s, I made a lot of money, and I spent a lot of money, and that's just the way it worked.
That's
and
right.
In the flooring industry, we're a little unique too, because you got folks like us who have our own businesses and whatnot, but we also have a lot of installers who are either employees of different stores. The guys that work on our crews, they're all employees, but we also have a lot of 1099 employees there. And so there's different things for everybody,
Not
depending on
1099
how you're
employee.
employed.
Not a 1099 employee.
Yeah, Doyle nailed it. Easy
Right.
come,
Yeah,
easy go money. That's the mentality.
Kind of what we were talking about. Like, you think it's always going to be easy until you're sitting there not working, and then it's like, what am I going to do tomorrow now? Like, start getting into a panic mode sometimes.
Growing up in Canada in the wintertime, they didn't build any houses because they couldn't pour any foundations or whatnot. So we would hit a really slow time, and none of us knew what to do with ourselves because we didn't have any money saved up and there was no work coming in. We'd all be scrounging over the few jobs that would come in. So listen, if we could prepare the guys a little better, and gals, that would really, that'd be a good start.
Yeah.
Putting the floors in is only part of it.
Is that what's in the plans right now? Do you guys have anything like for that, or is that something that you're going to be working on to try and get something to bring people over there to take a class for that?
Well, we have already been speaking with Mark Farnsworth with Professional Floor Covering Training. They're based out of Ohio. They're putting some classes in the Tri-County Career Center up in Ohio. And they're talking about not only having installation classes, but we're going to go forward with some financial planning as well and marketing classes so that they can become more well-rounded and they can come out and they can actually have a career and maybe be able to have a better chance of success. So yeah, we're going deep into that already in the colleges. We need to expand that into the high schools because a lot of kids now, they don't fall into the category of being necessarily college material, right? So we need to probably target those kids, and because I was one of those kids and nobody ever targeted me. Somebody found me, and all of a sudden I was unloading a truckload of pad, and then I became somebody's helper and went from there. But I got to target these kids. So they have a little bit. Yes.
With the tri-state training that we're going to be doing with Mark, we actually had a call with a guy a couple of days ago that he was actually someone who went through the IBM management program. And some of you guys might not be old enough to know how exclusive that club is and how intense that training was. Some of the biggest CEOs in the world went through the IBM training. So he was talking a lot of things to us that really could be beneficial to young people, not even going in floor covering, but going into life, things that they can look into and things they should be looking out for. And it was really impressive talking with him.
Yeah, he came over here too and talked to us and trying to get some stuff going over here. And that's what we talked about too, was, getting into the community colleges and for these classes. And, it takes X amount of people for it to run, but then it's like these things need to happen. Ray says, I don't know what website he's talking about, but what's the status of the new website?
I don't know. We don't have a new one coming.
No one?
So Ray, if you can type in which site you're talking about. But we definitely don't have a new one coming. We just did ours when we started in 21.
Going to Doyle's question there too. He's
Yeah,
asking
what
the percentage of
of-
independent installers. That would be a really tough number to come up with, because not only we got big box stores we can throw in there, we got retailers, got folks like us. That'd be a really tough number to come up with.
And I don't think it's very big because of just the material aspect, right? People don't realize how much material costs until you actually have to go get it. Unless but that's why they have the floor sources of the world and stuff like that, so that way you can send clients in there and just have them pay and you don't have to worry about it. So that number is probably growing. But you do have to realize that some of these guys are just 1-2 man crews, and if they're out trying to sell, they're not on the floor making money.
That is very accurate.
Yeah, and our Beaumont Flooring, we are a labor only house. We don't sell materials, so we leave that to somebody else.
So apparently Paul and Sarah said a new website was coming, but I don't recall that.
That's great. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not sure how far along they are.
So Andy says he would say 75% for 1099, but I guess that's working through a store instead of selling your own materials and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of installers who, and it's a lot of the people on here who have been members of the Flooring Installers of America page, have realized that, you know what, I can sell the product. I can make money. I can sell myself for a little bit more than what I'm doing. And, it's just like what we were talking about before. It's just knowing that you can, having someone else tell you they did it and how they did it. There's just a lot more opportunity out there than just being an installer, unless that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah, there's people out there that's what they'd rather focus on is installing. So that's what they do. And, I know people personally that have started selling materials and everything, and they were doing it for years, and then they finally back up and they're just like, I just want to do the work. And you don't know until you try, right?
Yep.
Not everybody is meant to be a salesperson. Not everybody is meant to be a business owner. Like there's some folks that are just more comfortable just putting their head down and getting the work done.
If my body would take it, I'd still be installing, because why wouldn't you? You go back at the end of the day and you look down and know you did that, and you did a good job. No other job
instant
does that.
gratification. Humans
Every
love
day.
that, and that's what you get when you're installing. Is
That's right.
you start with something that looks like nothing, and then by the end of the day, you're like, man, let me take a picture.
It's probably why I do dumb stuff like
That's right.
create projects for myself around the house, because I don't get to work with my hands near as much as I used to.
That's right.
You would think,
That's
though,
true.
that we're not installing full time anymore, that we would have a whole bunch more time on our hands. But that is
Yeah,
definitely not the case.
right.
The older we get, time is our most valuable commodity, and there's not enough of it, and we can't produce any more of it.
Right. So
I got some Divergent fans coming up on the chat boards. How's it going?
Dude, that was the best sticker, the best use of a sticker that I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what? What's this? Oh, I get it. I get it.
He's a diver. He's a gentleman. He's Divergent.
So, as far as training, right? I mean, people are on both sides of it. You got us that are like, let's do this, and then you've got the other people that are like, what do I need this for? And I think that the future is looking bright because technology changes so fast these days. It's not like back in the day when you're using the same adhesive for 10 years. Things are changing on a yearly basis, probably more than that. You're in the adhesive game. I don't know how much you guys change, but it's all, especially right now, right? Especially in 2020, when raw materials were hard to get, things were changing on the fly and you had to be on your game.
Okay.
So what do you guys see for the future, and not just installation training, but we're talking business training, we're inspectors, what's happening in the future?
Well, it's just kind of like what we were just talking about, the instant gratification. And I think we see a lot of people not who don't want to do the training. It's because they don't gain anything the next week after the training. And that's not how it works. It's not like you go to the training and you instantly get a raise. It has to do with how you market yourself and how you carry yourself in the industry, and letting people know that you do know how to do it right. There's a great amount of folks, architects, specifiers, who are willing to pay a little bit more to get it done right. I mean, and that's just the way that you have to present yourself.
And yes,
So I want to add to that too, and I didn't mean to cut you off there, Scott.
right,
But
go with that.
when you go to the certifications, you go to the trainings, you go to these conventions, you go to a social network with people who are in your field, you tend to pick up and learn a couple things about how to market yourself, about presentation, about the importance of putting everything together as a whole to create. I don't want to say to create, right? To kind of showcase who you really are and what you're really about as an installer. And if I said that we didn't start off by doing some shameless marketing and plugs without really knowing what we were doing, I'd be lying to you guys. But we learned a lot more as we got out there more. And every time we went to a convention or to a training, we learned something new. And we got, I don't say we got better, but we added more ammunition to that marketing tool.
You added people to your
Yes.
network. I mean, Daniel, how long ago did we meet at that thing? And there was a lot of this 10 years easy, if not more. And you met people and you created this network with folks. And now you guys have a podcast. You're one of the most popular contractors in the United States. People know you guys. And it's not because you know how to install the best, right? That's not a knock at you, but you want to help everybody in your industry, and people can talk to you because you can relate to the problems they're seeing in the real world, right? So your network is expanding. Not only are you meeting people that help you, but you're meeting people that you can help.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. And not everybody understands that's how it goes.
That's how Daniel and I met ourselves. I was doing a CFI training in Forney. Daniel was in class getting his what was that? C1, Daniel, I think.
Yeah, R1C1.
R1C1, and we've been friends ever since. The people you meet at
Introduction to
these
flooring.
conventions and surfaces and the trainings, you stick with those people forever, and we rely on each other, and we get better because of each other.
Right. So I want to go to this comment real quick. Doyle says, that what we were talking about, there's the same gratification for a salesman who goes and pre-qualifies a job to sell proper flooring and proper prep for that situation, making sure the installer, knows what he needs. It's a team effort. And that's 100% true, especially when you're talking about residential markets, because there's too many salesmen out there. Well, it's not just residential, it's commercial too. There's too many salesmen that just go out and sell. And then it's worry about it later. So yeah, that is a good point with the sales side. And it is, I mean, it does feel like that sometimes, especially when I'll put out the YMCA. It's in my hometown, it was a huge job and I really wanted it. And then when you actually get the email that's like, hey, you guys got it, it does feel really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then Dan says, trainings and certifications are tools. It's not a paycheck. You have to sell yourself. Just saying. That's his.
Sometimes he says.
But that is a big part of it.
Just
People who take trainings and get certifications, they need to know how to market themselves and set themselves apart from others as well. And that's, as a group, when we're networking, that's what we can teach each other. This is how you can market yourself. This is how you can move forward. You don't have to get stuck in the same rut. Let's make us all better.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's like Denise said, the tribe. And we talk about this in NAFCT a lot. Our partners, excuse me, who hold the class, they're the manufacturers, right? And they have their technical guys there. Our board of directors is all technical guys, a couple of contractors as well. But to have the network of being able to call the tech rep for the product you're using directly instead of just calling an 800 number to get through can cost you hours on a job site, save you hours, right? So these networks that you build, you know, if you could pick up the phone and call Kevin with a question that you have with something,
Yeah, right when you said that.
Yeah, you can call him and not have to go through 4 different, you know, voicemails. It means something. It's a value to you. So it's much more than just getting that piece of paper that says, okay, you spent 8 hours training on this. It's so much more than that.
Yeah, 100%. We'll go back here to what Andy said about the salesman worry about it later because it falls on the installer, not the sales guy when it goes bad, right? But that's where it's a team effort, and I think that's where we have to start looking at things as a whole, right? We're talking about training and entities just helping each other out. It's the same thing if you're an installer or you're a salesperson. It's not about blaming one or the other. It's about a collaborative, and it's going, you know, seeing that paperwork and then going to the salesman and being like, I don't think this is going to work. Let's talk about this before we get out there. And then Doyle says,
and you'll see the guys who have been selling for a long time, they're going to go to their main guy. I know Andy worked at a place like that where if it was something a little sketchy, they would get the installer involved on the front end to know what they had to do. You know, to answer Kevin's about what's being done to educate the retail sales staff. Honestly, that's so hard because there's so much turnover, right? It's got to come from the person who owns the store, who is running the store, to make sure that they're trained before they just start going out there and thinking they know how to do it, right? But it's difficult to get to those folks to train them accordingly.
It was different in my past life. I used to do trainings for manufacturers, and we used to go into stores and do new product trainings. And we would work with the installers at like 7 o'clock in the morning for an hour, hour and a half. And then we would roll into the sales staff right afterwards so we could assist them on how to sell their product and the advantages of the product. It's, as Sonny said, it's difficult to get in front of that group sometimes.
What I was going to say was, if they're already making money, then it's hard to get them away from behind the desk. It's hard to get an installer off of the floor if they're already making money without it. Looking long-term is where we have to try to resonate with them. We have to try to find something that sticks with them, to have them understand that if you're in it for the long haul, then start now. Daniel's a little comment about that he took off of I forget what show right now, The Office.
Many small time, make big time.
Right. And you got to start doing that many small time as soon as possible. Even if you're a 50-year-old installer and you're looking, you might be looking for a way to get off your knees, that there is a path, and you will find that path when you find your people, you find your tribe. And that path might be training the salespeople you've been working under for years, but go get some accolades, get some notches on that belt. So that way everything's validated, not for the industry and for yourself.
And you know what? It might not be the first thing you do. You know, I like to think I'm a decent person. I'd be a good employee, but in my late 20s, I was the worst hire you could ever have because I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? I knew I wanted to get off my knees, went to one place, started a service department, did that for about 1.5 years. I was like, no, I don't really want to do that. Then I became, the scheduler for the labor. I damn sure didn't want to do that for more than about 60 days. Then I was a project manager. Then I was in sales. I just kept saying, I know this isn't what I want to do. And finally, I made it over to the dark side, worked for a manufacturer, and I realized that's where I wanted to stay. And I found adhesives. Adhesives found me. Just the way I think. I'm analytical. You do this and it works. If you don't do that, it won't work. So I found peace of mind. But it took a long time. I had patience. I had a guy who was very patient with me in Florida. Anybody in Orlando knows Blackton Inc. And Sean over there, God, I bet he gave me 4 or 5 different jobs because I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
You were learning.
And
that's right. I learned a little bit of everything by doing it, though, right? It helped, but it wasn't helpful to him, right? You still got to be a good
Yeah, and
employee.
that kind of brings me to what I wanted to plug right here is because NAFCT and Divergent Adhesives came on as partners of the show, so I want to show some appreciation there, and kind of you're the man in charge, so I want to give you some time to plug your adhesives and stuff.
No, I appreciate that, man. When you approached me, it was a no-brainer for me. We enjoy what you do. More importantly, the way you support the industry and support installers, we wanted to be a part of that. What we talk about at Divergent is we try to make the installer's life as simple as possible. Because if the installer's out there and they're fighting the products that they're installing, be it the underlayment, the adhesive, the flooring, it's not going to go well. So on our part, we try to make the adhesive, over-engineered as much as we can to where when they're there, they don't have the issue. They're not thinking about it, and they can focus on doing a good job. So, our motto is for installers, by installers. We've been doing it for a long time.
I have on here, on our sponsorship page, Divergent Adhesives delivers high-performance adhesives designed specifically for the demands of flooring professionals. That's us, guys. And Divergent is the go-to choice
because
for
I'm one of those
contractors who can't avoid failure or afford failure.
That's right.
We used some on one of our projects that we ended up adopting from PJ, and it was already there on site, and that was the first time. And whoa!
Yeah, you got that 440 for the double glue down. That'll get you.
And then, the NAFCT is kind of setting a stage right now too, where it's almost a hybrid certification, and we talk about technology, and that's where it's really key, right? Where you don't have to spend days on days on days getting the information that you can get by just being on your computer. And it's a hybrid world these days. My wife works hybrid. We can work hybrid if we wanted to.
No.
But that's huge in the technology game right there, for classes to be held online and then go get the certification in person.
That's right. We try to let you do as much as you can online, but we also don't want you to have to sit down and watch an hour and a half video on how to prep the floor, right? So we break it up into 7 to 8 different modules that are about 30 minutes, right? You can take 30 minutes and watch a quick video and then take a quiz on it. That way, when you get to the hands-on portion, you've already got what you need to know. Now they're just going to teach you how to apply it in the real world, and you're not taking a week off of work. You're just taking a day or two off, depending on what you're going for, what certification, and you do most of it online. So we've been pretty successful with it.
And we definitely appreciate that. Our guys did the online portion and learned so much about just underlayment in general, and it's crazy.
Can cover more online than we can if we have the group in the training area. There's too much to cover. So we need to focus on the hand skills when they're on the floor, when they're here. That's what we need to focus on, not the classroom time so much.
I 100% agree with that.
That's right. Yeah, especially with the young people. I think I've told this story on here before, but I'll tell it real quick. We work with a group called AMI Kids, and it's 15 to 19-year-old kids that this is their last stop. They screw up again, they're going to prison, not jail, prison. So we go in there and did some training for them. And the first day, we opened up the projector with the PowerPoint, and I think we got to slide 3, and half the class was asleep. They're like, "This is not for us." Paul and I had to scrap the presentation and just go to the store, buy a bunch of flooring, and just let them install it. It's just, you got to know your audience, right? You just can't make everything adapt to everybody. So that's what we try to do when we're talking about different types of flooring and training.
I'm a trainer for you guys, and I love doing the heat weld and flash cove training. And that was one of my draws, right? Was if I'm going to be on site, we're going to be hands-on, and that's what everyone loves about the training. Because I talked to some of the guys, and they were like, so what's the plan? Like, after I do introductions, I'm like, we're going to get out there, and they're like, oh, I thought we were going to be in here for like 5 hours. No, man, let's go out there and start getting hands-on right away.
That's right. That's right. You can't read a book on how to flash cove.
You can. It's totally different doing it, though. So Kevin did ask this question that I want to get to. It's what part of the industry do you see the most need for education? And Dan answered.
I think it's the heat well
Dan
flash
answered
stove.
good right here.
I mean,
Every
that's a
aspect,
dying
right?
breed.
But that's
Well, it falls under different
every
categories.
aspect.
We need better trained installers. We need more installers who are better trained and have better knowledge and who care. We need to teach them how to care about what they're doing. And I always say, like, I took installation classes and it made me a much better installer because I realized all the things I was taught that I was doing wrong. Then I became an inspector, and all of a sudden I started seeing the consequences of all my actions and all the things that I was not doing properly. So we need more trained installers. We need better trained installers, well-rounded installers. I was a floor layer when I grew up. I wasn't a carpet layer. I wasn't a hard surface. I laid floors. So if it went on the floor, we put it in. We got a lot of specialized guys nowadays that they don't do carpet. They don't do resilient. Let's try to get everybody doing everything again. Let's have everybody more rounded. As far as inspectors are concerned, let's try to focus on maybe not more inspectors, a better trained inspector, more training. Let's make the inspectors we have, let's make them better. Sales staff. Let's have sales staff that actually knows the product that they're selling. I'm in Georgia. Yeah. There's billboards on I-75 going up and down it, advertising waterproof floor. Let's have it so these customers are a little better informed when they come in and they buy new flooring.
Hey, just a side note on that, ASTM F06, which I'm telling every one of you need to be a freaking member of because it's resilient flooring. We are working on a definition of waterproof versus water resistant to help eliminate this marketing term out there. It's like LVT. It means nothing, but give it a definition to where people understand what that means, because obviously it's been oversold. But but back to the point of what we were talking about. If you're not looking at yourself and looking back a couple of years thinking, how did I get away with doing it that way for so long? You're not learning. You should be doing that every couple of years, learning something more, looking back and realizing that how much better you could be. Because you're never perfect.
Your luck will run out eventually.
That's right. And unfortunately, it's just like with moisture. If you don't check with moisture, you don't do the proper floor prep, or you don't look for this, whatever it is, that one job that bites you may be enough to bankrupt you.
And just
right, unless you have really good insurance,
in general, you could lose everything. You don't know that your ASTM and you don't know what that is, you need to look into that like right now, because any inspector that's going to show up on the site is going to, that's probably one of the first questions they ask. Let me get the moisture test, the moisture readings.
That's right. And those inspectors are going to judge you by one of three for the main ones, but even more. They're going to judge you by 2170, which is the relative humidity, 1869, calcium chloride, F710 being the most important. If you don't have F710 in your toolbox, in your truck, on your phone, you've lost, because you don't know what to expect, because someone's going to come out and they go, well, you didn't do this, this, and this. You can't win the game if you don't know the rules. It's $115 to be a member of ASTM. And I'll know because I'm the secretary for
and if
F06
you don't vote,
membership
Sonny
secretary.
will call you
I'll know when
personally
you go
and say, hey, you need to do something.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
That's right. You need to vote.
So I want to go back up here real quick and, just pop up a couple comments. Doyle says not to give up on retailers. He knows they're hard-headed, but he's made a great life, fulfilling life as a salesman, and it's exciting. And we're not saying that it's not. It's just that some salesmen don't look at the installation aspect and think of the installers when they are quoting projects.
And I know Doyle, he is one of the ones that is always trying to get more informed, get more educated. He is real. If we had more like Doyle, I think we'd be in a much better place.
And then Ray says that he did a online resilient flooring course with Paul. It was wonderful, being able to learn over 12 weeks instead of 5 college level days with a fire hose.
That's right. That was one of our best classes that we did. But like you said, one night a week for 12 weeks. You had homework to do in between. it was a really good course. Can't wait
He
to
said,
do
is
that
there
one
going to
again.
be any type of follow-up class in person for that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, during this transition, we got it. We'll get Scott up to speed, and we'll have these things soon
and
enough.
then Dan did reply. He said that he met him at the summit. So yeah, he's one of those good guys. And we got Kevin here. How do you feel about inspectors with no background in the flooring industry taking an online course, getting their license, and going out there and inspecting trying to reword this, inspecting what the installers are installing with decades of experience and knowledge?
I hate them. There's no other way to put it. I mean, there's too many people out there who say they're an inspector because they went to a 3-day course. It drives me crazy.
What we need to do,
and
we need to recognize that we get a lot of these classes for inspectors, and I used to teach them, so I know this. It's basic knowledge on what we need to do as inspectors, but they need to continue their education as well, and think of it as an introductory class, and let's make myself better, because you can't learn everything in the flooring industry, inspection wise, installation wise, any aspect of it in a week.
Yeah, and that's one more avenue that you can take as an installer with that installation background. It's a really good transition into being an inspector. I mean, they're the necessary evil. I used to joke around with Paul that because that's kind of how we met. He was inspector, I was on the manufacturing side, and we'd have some heated debates. And he knows, he can relate things to installers of why they did something the way they did, right? That's the biggest misconception with inspectors. But I used to tell him it's him being a good inspector is like being the least smelliest homeless person at the shelter. It really doesn't matter. You're still terrible.
But I think it's just like anything else, right? Until you get that hands-on experience, it doesn't matter. So we were talking about this, like watching videos and stuff on YouTube and getting information out there just so that way people have an idea of what needs to be done and how it can be done right, is different than them actually going in and doing it right. That's where you can release videos, and there's still a market for that hands-on training. A video will only get you so far. It's these right here that really make or break you. And
right.
It's just, getting that experience, whether it's in a class or yourself. I mean, for years we were not certified, so it's definitely not something that it's like, if you're not certified, you're horrible. No, it's one of those things where you can be really, really great, but then going to a certification, you take one thing away, makes you even better. And then, like you said earlier, it's taking what you know and then letting other people kind of absorb what you know. It's helping other people be better. And that's where I think a lot of the guys lack in the industry, because the flooring industry for so long has just been, I'm almost gonna take what I know to the grave, because if I teach you, you're gonna take all my work. And that's a horrible mentality to have.
Yeah.
Right. There's room for everybody.
When I think, the biggest thing with inspectors that I see, and it goes from the very early on in their career to the end of their career, is communication skills. And that can relate to anybody at any time, especially on the installer side. But being able to communicate what you know to the person who's going to deal with what you know, the problem that you're trying to service, is difficult sometimes, right? So you've got an inspector who's trying to talk manufacturing jargon that's going to a homeowner. They don't understand what that means. Same with an installer. If they're trying to talk and they can't break it down for a homeowner or the GC or the building owner, it's not going to get done the way it needs to get done. So that was one of the things when we talked about, what was his name, Daniel? Ron? Was that his name, the IBM guy? Ron or Eric? Eric. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name. But that's one of the things he talked about, is working on those soft skills, those communication skills. Because, when I was running the service department for that company, I knew there were some really talented guys out there, but I could never put them in the house with a homeowner doing a repair. Just wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to work out. So the way it always works out is the guy who's the nicest, he doesn't have the best hand skills, so that's who we have to send out. That's the way it works. So if you have both, you can make a lot of money.
A lot of the best floor guys I know, they have 0 people skills altogether, but their hand skills are phenomenal.
That's right. That's right. And focus on those strengths. Not everybody's made to do that.
You also have to realize that not everyone is made to run a business too, right? So can you get coached through that? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But let's get this coaching and training and stuff first before you go out there full force and then ruin your name on something that could have been avoided.
That's right.
Sonny, are there plans for another summit?
Did Denise just call me a tool? Oh, the internet's a tool. Sorry. No, we were working on it. We tried to get it for the fall, Kevin, for the summit, but I don't think that's going to work with the change that we had here at NAFCT. It kind of put us behind. So we're probably going to go back to looking at the spring of next year. And for those of you on here that went, I hope you can agree with me, but it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. We had the top names in the industry talking about specialized topics that they know a lot about. They even let me up there for a little bit, but there's just a lot of good information that we can get when we all get together. Again, that's where we met Doyle. We got to meet so many people there in person. The education's great, but the relationships are even better.
It was small. It was intimate. It was easy to navigate.
Yeah, we had 100 people there. Little trade show. I loved it. I think it was great. We immediately started working on the other one, but we couldn't get it quite together. So we'll go back and do it again in the spring. I think we're really looking at doing it in Dallas, in the middle of the country. It's easy to fly in and out of. There's a place right there at the airport. Try to make it a little bit easier to get to. Dalton's not the easiest place to fly into.
This is true.
His summit was his first experience with superstars, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about you two up there.
Yeah, both of you guys.
Well, and the good thing about the summit was, everybody here has been to surfaces, and sometimes you want to talk to somebody in a booth specifically, and you walk up and they're busy. They're talking to somebody. So you try to circle back to them a little bit later, and they're talking to somebody else. And you guys are right. It was very intimate, so we could really have discussions with everybody before, after, during. It was really cool.
Collect interest on the summit payment. You got a refund. Come on. If you have it, I'll make sure you get it.
I think the opportunity was there, right, to keep saving for when it's rescheduled. I think that's probably what Dan's talking about.
Yeah, maybe that's what we did. Maybe so.
It's really small and intimate, and you can have conversations, and the information is great, man. I mean, my first time going to see you guys way back in the day, and then I came back here and I'm like, man, I think I filled the notebook up just taking notes.
Love me some notes.
Yeah, that was our very, very first attempt at flash cove and heat weld, and that was with who went? Oh, it was William Thornton
and Mike
That's
Pigeon
That's who
too.
you're with. Yeah, Puppy did it, and but it was. I came across some pictures from that one the other day, and I was looking and reminiscing, thinking, "Man, we come a long way, baby," because it's a lot different than what we were doing there. But just like you guys take the class, you try to get better. We do the same thing with the programs that we're teaching. Every time we'll have, okay, let's do this different, let's do that different, and we're constantly trying to make it as best as we can, make it the best it can.
And I may be biased because of my relationship with Daniel, but I think heat welding is one thing, and flash coving that I'd like to say is a dying part of our trade, and we need to get more into it because there is a lot of work, that kind of work out there. I am not a flash cover. I'm not a heat welder. I did a little bit of it in my 20s, but that was way too long ago. So we need to get some more folks trained up on how to do that. And
it's definitely one of those. It's an acquired taste, right? If you're hyper competitive and you like to be good at what you do, and you want to try something and you want to be better because you don't want to tell someone you failed or you can't, give it a shot. you challenge yourself every single time, no matter how many years you have.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, oh, I just want to have an easy day, I don't want to be challenged, then just do carpet tile.
Well, that goes to
That's right.
a comment that I seen earlier right here. Doyle said we need installers that are trainable, and if you think that you're not making any mistakes, you are dead wrong. Like, I don't care who you are. I've been doing this for years. I still make mistakes
all the time.
That's right. The job site won't let you do it perfect. If the job site was perfect and installers did it perfect, I could knock out about 50% of the strength
Even when
of
we
my
talk
adhesives,
about trainings,
right? But I have to overcome things that
I've
I
never
can't
seen
see.
a perfect job.
I will be in a training and then showing someone how to do something, and then be like, "All right, don't do it like that."
Yeah. See, that's exactly what you're not supposed to do. But I wanted to show you that this is very common.
The rules are for thee, not for me.
And I think you're right. Heat weld and flash cove is one of those things where a lot of people will probably say that they know how to do it, or they've seen it done, or have done it once, and they're like, "Yeah, I can do that." But until you're like deep into it, it's a lot. And even in the 4-day, 5-day class that we put on, there's so much information to take in that I just give you the information and it's hands-on, because if you're not hands-on almost the entire time, you're falling behind. So, and my favorite thing in one of them was the one time when, we had Andy in there, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, are we going to talk about repairs and stuff like that?" And I said, "Oh, there'll be some moments where we're going to have some time to talk about repairs, because
That's a 3-day class in itself.
you're not going to get it right the first time. I can guarantee you that."
Well, and I still have the picture of Andy doing his test
with a cake,
with his with a piece of cake in one hand and his tools in the other hand. So I guess the job was piece cake for him.
Jeremy says he met more experienced installers that aren't trainable over new guys coming in, and yeah, that's because they get that mentality.
100%.
I've been doing this. I already know how to do it.
Jeremy's one of those experienced installers.
If I'm on a job site and someone says I've been doing this 30 years, I just stop talking because they're not going to listen. They throw that. I've been doing this 30 years. Like, there's no sense in arguing.
That's the worst thing. Like, because I've been doing it for 30 plus years now, and I can't say that to people because I've heard it so many times in my life, and I don't want to come across as that stubborn old installer who's been doing it for 30 years and I know everything. So
Eric,
I get the Jorge's comment there too. I love that he burned himself with the welding.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, I was doing a carpet training one time, and I didn't have my knife in my pouch, and I reached back and I cut myself, and all of a sudden a Band-Aid comes out of the crowd because I was bleeding all over the place. It happens all the time.
Don't bleed on the carpet. That's all you need to know.
That's right. The white.
Yeah.
Eric wants to know if you have any training out west, and I think we are trying to work on something over there. It's just hard to schedule getting the venues and stuff together, and then also the trainers, which is I guess this is a great avenue to ask. I mean, if you want to be a trainer, if you know what you're doing, these are the guys to talk to, man. It's not they're not going to come to you all the time. It's you reaching out to them. That's where these relationships start.
There are definitely opportunities right now that we need more. We need more trainers because we are going to need to be in more places than we currently have people. So anybody who is interested in becoming an educational partner with us and becoming a trainer, talk to me and Sonny. We want to work with you, and we want to help. We don't want to put it all on you. We want to market. Right. We want to have good, successful classes, and we want qualified trainers training them.
Yeah, so definitely.
Yep.
Definitely
no, for sure. Out. And as far as going back to California, I mean, we've got one instructor in Northern California. I don't know if that's Northern, but not Southern California. And we've been working with Floor God about trying to get something down in Southern California. So we're making our way out there. But again, not to make excuses, but with the change we've made this summer, we got to ramp back up to get back on schedule to get those things going.
Jeremy says he wants to become a trainer. So my brothers,
Do what?
Jeremy wants to become a trainer. Then
Oh.
I pulled a Paul and started reading the comment that he just put in the private chat. So he's got to get off it because he's got to go coach. He's got some baseball coming up, and he's one of the coaches, so he's stuck.
And my microphone's not working very well anyway, so boom,
It
goes
just
the
gets
dynamite.
super loud.
Thanks everybody.
Yeah. I like Nate's comment that he's not certified to installer, not because he doesn't screw up, but because of all the screw ups he's had.
100%.
And I had a guy once tell me, you're a mechanic not when you don't make mistakes, but you're a mechanic when you can fix the mistakes you make. Right? That's when you know you've made it.
This is true.
Dan
And I'm
says
looking
that.
at Jason's comment there about training's different for commercial and residential, and he is totally right, because in my world that I live in, most residential installers, they don't fit into my world. And the same way it goes,
Yep.
There's some of these wovens, flat weaves that
Yep.
I have no business even trying to seam up. So I either don't try, or I can admit I need more training on myself.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
where NFIC comes in. I
Yeah.
was blown away with, I was like, I always told Dan, I was like, I'm not going to take that class because I don't deal with those materials. And then I went and I was like, I'll probably never touch this again, but at least I know the basics if I have to sell something.
That's right.
And
Yes,
Something came
okay.
up.
We all do that. Blame it on the help.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to Jason Ramsey. He does volunteer for our moisture certification course that we're just about to launch. He's given a lot of time up and been on that committee for a while. So I appreciate it, Jason.
wasn't Jason
Anybody who wants to volunteer, just reach out
in
to Scott
Japan
or
or
myself.
something?
He is right now, I believe, or if he's not now, he was.
So Kevin says he's very excited about Scott teaming up with the NAFCT. Great decision, and I 100% agree. Like you said, over the years we've gotten to know each other pretty well, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So, and not only that, man, he's got the space to hold some trainings. So he's going to be there, and he's ready to rock out some trainings.
That's right. And we have a bunch coming up.
That's right.
It may not be an AFCT, but like I always say, and I have said it from day one from us opening this place, we want to work with everybody. I'll give a shout out to Jerry Miller, because he has a big commercial training coming up in August here, commercial inspector training, and he has an all-star lineup coming up, like Paul Carroll, Bruce Gentry, Dave Carter, Doyle Slaughter, Shane Jenkins, Billy Simmons. And it's here at our facility, and it's going to be a hands-on inspector class on training inspectors how to do job starts, job stops. Manufacturers are really big on that kind of stuff, and with Jerry here, we know it's going to be done right. Floor Detective David Zach, he's got some color correction classes that he's going to do here before the end of the year. We've talked to AFT. There's going to be a seaming class here coming up before the end of the year as well. So we have some events here, and then we're going to build on that with NAFCT and have some of our own trainings to piggyback off those trainings. So
We're really fortunate.
It's exciting times
so
coming up,
glad
I think.
Yeah, I mean, like we've always preached, anytime, from the first time I've met Sonny, it's always been, it's a collaborative in the industry, and we have to make sure that everyone knows that, right? We're all in this together. So let's train together. Let's become friends. Let's do all of this, because if we don't, then we're just pushing the industry further apart, and that's not what we want to do.
Yeah, we can't have 5 entities teaching 5 different ways to do things. It's just not productive.
So, Scott, do you have any of the information about any of those classes readily available on a website or anything?
I can share it. Jerry's, I know, is the 18th and 19th. I'll share it on social media, and I'll
Of
put
this
it on
month?
August, sorry.
Okay.
David, Zach, and AFT, those are going to be later in the year, most likely November. We're looking at for those. So they're confirming some dates and making sure that everything can work, and hey, we need to get everybody out.
Yeah, and as far as resilient training, I know we do have one scheduled right now for the Heat Weld and Flash Cove, and that is in October. It's going to be
in Ohio.
I don't want to get the wrong dates, but I want to say the week of October 25th.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure I got it in here somewhere.
But you know, that's coming up. So if you did want to get some Heat Weld Flash Cove training,
The week
the week
of
of
the
the
20th.
20th. Okay.
Yeah.
So we gotta start somewhere, man, and get in there and have me come and be like Jorge and burn your fingers and start up something. You know, we've been pretty fortunate to get a lot of projects because of the knowledge that we have on that. And if that's something that you're looking to do, come out and learn some stuff. They've got a great facility over in Columbus, and you will be, your jaw is going to drop. The same thing over at
Blown
Scott's. I
away.
mean, we walked
Yep.
in there before everything was put together, and you know, just the vision that he had with the space, and then going in there and seeing what it is now. It's come a long way, and I'm 100%, man. I'm so proud of what you guys have done there and put together, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm ready to get down there and teach a class down there too.
And it's Georgia and it's air conditioned. That is the key to the whole equation right there.
You need scuba gear to get in the building, but once you're
That's
in there,
right.
you're fine.
That's right.
Okay, real quick, Jorge just won the best comment of the day, by the way. In this case, Scotty does know. That's one of my favorite movies reference.
Yeah.
If y'all don't get it, we can't
Dan
be
does
friends.
owe me. He owes me a certification because I went to NFIC. So I told him he would have to get his hands on some vinyl. So that is that on the. Yeah, it is live on the website now.
On the NAFCT.com, you can go on the classes there and it'll say what's
the
coming
Heat Weld
up.
and Flash Cove,
But it's
event
in Columbus, Ohio.
at America's Floor Source. And then I'm sure we will try and get some more stuff scheduled really soon. It's just it's everyone's busy time, so it's hard to sometimes it's hard to even have meetings about stuff because of how much is going on. And I'm sure everyone can relate because, you know, just getting on the podcast to watch it live is hard enough sometimes.
That's right.
Jimmy, it is in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio at America's Floor Source. And for those of you who don't know Jason Goldberg, he has a commitment to training his employees like no other company I've ever met in my life or dealt with. He wants to make sure that his team has all the tools they need to be successful. And that's what sets him apart from the other, I won't even say competitors in the area, because they're not competitors. And he's done it right over there. That facility they have is nice. They welcome us anytime we want to be there. So they're just good people there. I just want to make sure he gets a big shout
I give
out.
a shout out to Jim Freeman too, because he didn't know that there was a flooring podcast. And I told him the other day and he was so excited. So he's probably going back in the archives and watching all the old ones.
Oh no, don't start at episode 1. I don't even remember what our episode 1 was, the introduction, but I mean, I don't even know what episode this is. I mean, we're 3 years in now, so we definitely appreciate you guys for listening, watching, and all the comments and interacting. And without you guys, we would be nothing. So definitely appreciate you. So make sure you're letting everyone know about us and giving us a like, subscribe, and do the same thing with the NAFCT and Beaumont Flooring. I think a lot of the stuff on social media is going to be posted on your guys' social medias, as far as the training, since that's where it's going to be held.
We'll help everybody, anybody who wants to hold the training. I don't care what the organization, even if it's not here, we're going to help promote it. Speaking of, I believe there's a regional for an installation competition this weekend that we'd really love to see some more competitors in. So let's throw that out there as well in Boston.
Yeah, and it's not even competitors at this point. It's a collaborative. Like I said, we're all in this together. So let's start acting like it and see what we can do to help each other out. I mean, Go Carrera, you know, is setting the standard when it comes to as the hammer rating now. What it's going to be called in the future, we don't know yet. But I mean, it's it's patented to where they have this ready, and it's amazing. If you're not on there, definitely get on there and make sure that you get your profile set up. To know where you're at, right? We're all in this. I do want to say thanks to Sonny and Scott for joining us today. Scott, congratulations on the new position with the NAFCT, and I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to come up with. I know big things are always coming, and this is definitely not the last time you guys are going to be on here. You're going to be on here again because there's going to be things that are popping up. Sonny, thanks for the sponsorships. We definitely appreciate that and everything that you do for the industry. And I just want to one more time kind of go through what events are coming up and the dates, so that way people know, and then we'll do last words.
Scott, you go ahead and go, and I'll look and see what we have. I know Ardex has a bunch of classes.
Right, and follow us on social media, either Beaumont Flooring and NAFCT, Sonny or myself personally. Daniel, he posts a lot. We'll keep all the trainings as much as we can. We're going to keep filtering it out there so everybody sees it. We're really excited about what we're doing here and working with all of you, working with the colleges, working with the high schools installers. Again, if you're interested in doing some trainings with us, becoming a trainer for us, reach out to me or Sonny. We really, the more help, the better. The more help, the better. Thanks for having us on, Daniel. We really appreciate it. I always enjoy our talks anyways.
Yep.
Sonny, you got any?
Yeah, I always enjoy it. So one of the things that, if you don't realize what we do, that's a little bit different than other associations, is we have our educational partners who are manufacturers host these classes. And a lot of times they cover your hotel stay. They'll cover your meals while you're there. They'll feed you while you're there. We try to do everything we can to keep the cost down. Ardex is really big. Bohaker, they're really big about doing that kind of stuff for us. But so the next classes we have are going to be at Ardex on August 28th in Mansfield, Texas. September 17th at Ardex in Stockton, California. September 23rd at Ardex in Dallas, Georgia. And then October 21st through 23rd will be at Bohaker, which is in Wadesboro, North Carolina. All of those will be the subfloor substrate class. And then the one at Bohaker will also be resilient certification.
Nice. And you can find probably all these on the NAFCT website as well.
NAFCT website or NAFCT.com or NAFCT on Facebook.
So, yeah, guys, make sure we're getting some likes and everything all the way around here, because we all share information all the time. So if you're not a part of it, make sure you're a part of it. Get on the email blast and everything, so that way we can continue all this together. And like Jason said right here, train the trainer. Maybe we'll talk about that stuff in the future, especially when it comes to, I would love to get some people together for the heat weld and flash cove and then see how far we can take that, because we're on a project right now where we had to get called in. I mean, it was one of our, biggest competitors over here in the area, and, talking to them, and the same thing that we were talking about. It's not a collaborative the way it needs to be, and we need to start working together and start looking at each other as competitors. And I congratulate them for some of the projects they get, and they congratulate me for some of the projects I get, and that's how it should be.
That's right. And if anybody ever needs to get in touch with me, they have a question, I didn't touch on it at the beginning, but I kind of specialize in anything from the flooring down, adhesives, underlayments, concrete, things like that. But you can call me whenever you want. It's 877-GLUE-DUDE, GLUDUDE, 877-GLUE-DUDE, anytime. Rings right here to my cell.
Oh, Jim said Andy is a hack.
Truth.
Oh, that's a great way to leave off. Well, appreciate you guys. And I'm sure this is, like I said, this is not going to be the last time, but I'm so glad that we met all those years ago, both of you guys. I think it was like one right after the other. I went to an NAFCT event, and then I went and got CFI certified, and then we've been talking ever since. So these are the kind of things that you have to look forward to if you haven't gotten certified yet. We're all in this together.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us, man. I really do. I look forward to what Scott's going to do with us, going to take us to the next level, and I can't wait to see what happens.
I'm very excited. So everyone stay tuned for the next episode with these two guys on there. It's not scheduled yet, but I'm sure it's not too far in the future because big things are going to be happening.